Arlis Perry was born in Bismarck, North Dakota, quiet, polite, deeply religious, and known for her unwavering Baptist faith. At 19 years old, she had just begun her new life as a wife. She married her high school sweetheart, Bruce Perry, and moved with him to the prestigious Stanford University campus, where he had enrolled as a student. Those who knew her described her as soft-spoken and gentle, sincere in her Christian beliefs, trusting and thoughtful, someone who often sought spiritual comfort through prayer. Moving from a small North Dakota town to an elite California university was a major change, but Arlis approached it with optimism. It was a cool, quiet Saturday night on Stanford's massive campus. Students wandered through courtyards. Campus lamps flickered under the California breeze, and the iconic Stanford Memorial Church, with its towering facade and stained glass windows, stood glowing like a beacon at the heart of the university. Arlis and her husband spent the evening walking together and talking, but a minor disagreement made Arlis decide she needed some time to reflect and pray. Around 11:30 p.m., she told Bruce she was going to Memorial Church. It was a familiar routine. She often visited the church at night to pray alone. Bruce went to sleep. Arlis never came back. White heavy checkmark 11:30 p.m. Arlis leaves their apartment. She walks across campus toward the church. It's a safe area, and she is comfortable being alone there. White heavy checkmark 11:45 p.m. Surveillance notes and witness accounts. A night security guard, Stephen Crawford, sees her enter the church. Two other individuals inside the church say they saw her praying quietly. White heavy checkmark 12:00 a.m. Church closes. The two other visitors exit. Crawford locks the church doors, believing the building is empty, but Arlis is still inside. White heavy checkmark overnight. No one sees her alive again. When Arlis still hasn't returned home by 3 a.m., Bruce becomes worried. He searches nearby areas and even checks the church doors, but finds them locked. He assumes she may have stayed out longer than usual and will return by morning. She never does. At 5:45 a.m., security guard Stephen Crawford unlocks the church to prepare for morning activities. The interior is silent and dim. Sunlight filters through stained glass saints, scattering color beams across the pews. Then he sees her. White heavy checkmark Arlis is found near the altar, positioned on her back. The scene is gruesome and staged. She had been strangled, likely with her own clothing. She was sexually assaulted post-mortem. A large altar candle was inserted into her body. Her hands were positioned above her head in a deliberate pose. A second candle was placed between her breasts. Her clothes were arranged in a way that suggested symbolic meaning. Nothing was stolen. Nothing was broken. The church had been locked all night. This was not random. It was controlled, staged, and deeply disturbing. The police immediately focused on white heavy checkmark her husband, Bruce. He was questioned extensively. His timeline checked out, and he had no physical evidence connecting him to the scene. White heavy checkmarked the two church visitors. Both were quickly cleared. White heavy checkmarked the security guard, Stephen Crawford. He claimed he saw Arlis enter. Locked up, found her the next morning. His calm demeanor surprised investigators, but they found no solid evidence against him at the time. White heavy checkmark crime scene complexity. The ritualistic staging created panic and confusion. Candles used as weapons. No fingerprints. No signs of a break-in. Doors locked with a master key. No witnesses hearing or seeing anything unusual. Rumors of occult involvement, ritual murder, and even cult activities spread rapidly. For the police, it was unlike anything they had ever seen inside a place of worship. For decades, the case went nowhere. Public theories included satanic ritual murder. The staging looked symbolic, which fueled satanic panic discussions in the 1970s and 1980s. White heavy checkmark a serial killer passing through campus. The brutality resembled attacks seen in other states. White heavy checkmark a crime of opportunity. Perhaps someone had noticed Arlis enter alone. But none of these theories fit the locked church mystery. In 2017, cold case investigators reopened the file, now equipped with upgraded DNA analysis. They retested Arlis's clothing, the candle wax, fingernail scrapings, church objects from the scene. A DNA profile emerged. It matched one name, white heavy checkmark Stephen Crawford, the security guard who had worked in the Memorial Church for years, the man who had found the body, the man with the keys, the only person with unmonitored access to the church all night. On June 28, 2018, police arrived at Crawford's San Jose apartment with an arrest warrant. He refused to open the door. Negotiations lasted minutes. Officers forced entry. As they advanced, Crawford drew a gun and shot himself in front of them. His death confirmed what investigators already suspected. Inside his home, police found newspaper clippings about the murder, books on criminal behavior, material suggesting long-term obsession with the case, personal items linking him directly to the crime. He had lived freely for over 40 years, holding the secret of Arlis Perry's murder. White heavy checkmark, Crawford stayed inside the church after closing. White heavy checkmark, he encountered Arlis alone while she prayed. White heavy checkmark, he assaulted and murdered her. White heavy checkmark, he staged the body to mimic ritual imagery. White heavy checkmark, he locked the church doors and pretended the next morning to discover the scene. This case, once tied to cult rumors, turned out to be the work of a lone predator hiding behind a position of trust. Arlis Perry's murder remains one of the most chilling crimes in American university history. It represents the failure of early forensic limitations, the danger of misplaced trust, a 4-decade mystery finally solved by science, a reminder that predators can look ordinary, calm, and professional. Her story continues to appear in documentaries, podcasts, and books because of its haunting combination